Spencer and I both became Christian later in life. We spent most of our lives without Jesus and living a life that was very far from him. Our stories parallel in that we came to Christ at a similar time in life. When we became Christians, both of us felt like we're fully committing to this. There's no lukewarm, there's no halfway. And so at the time, we're a part of a community group with some people who were serving overseas, and we just felt like we would love to do something like that one day, but the time wasn't now.
And so we just saw the sacrifice that they were willing to make to be obedient to God's call. Just felt in our hearts too that we really wanted to go out into the world and proclaim the gospel. After having lived a life without God, we just knew what it was like to now follow Jesus and how great that is.
Last August, there was a Village Impact trip going to Uganda, and I noticed it was a family trip, which really appealed to us. I signed up to go with 3 of our girls, and Spencer stayed back with the boys. We've always had a heart for Africa, so we were really excited to go on that trip. And then I noticed shortly after that in the fall, we noticed that there was a job opening in Uganda to work at the Chibali Community Center, and I looked at the gifting for the job and realized that it was actually a perfect fit for our family. So Spencer and I both became excited about that opportunity. We started praying about it, and then when we were in Chibali over spring break for those 2 weeks, it became really clear that this would be a good fit. We asked family members, close friends, mentors, and we met with various people just kind of sharing their heart. Most people knew our heart because they knew our story and knew that we had a heart for long-term missions and for Africa specifically for quite a while. So the process was a good one for us because it was very affirming. I even had a couple close friends say, actually, I feel like it's the wrong choice if you choose to stay here. Like, it just feels like God is calling you there. That felt really affirming and encouraging for us. The first fear for us was just wondering even a little bit about what people would think, or is this irresponsible, moving 5 kids over to Africa, and will they think we're crazy? And then as a mom, that fear of one of our kids getting sick, or just wondering how our kids will do in Africa. But again, it's God's calling us to do it, and so we pray through those fears and take courage and do it.
When we were initially talking about the idea of moving to Uganda, I sat down with one of the elders and talked about that idea, and it was difficult in a way because I do love being part of the elder team and love being a part of Village Church's mission and the vision that God has for our church to plant churches across Canada. But we had a great discussion, just open discussion, and it just came down to, if that's God's call, then that's our authority. And so, the elders were praying for me and for us, and we're just very encouraging and affirming in that. And it just became clear across the board that was the direction that God wanted us to go.
So there are a lot of things that will change in our lives and some things that will stay the same. We are a homeschooling family, so that will remain the same, which is nice, one less thing to kind of uproot and change. We've talked about certain relationships that we're going to just miss so much. There are people in our lives that we love dearly that it will be hard to leave.
Shifting our focus now to, Africa, the other part of the world, will be a transition. And so essentially what we'll be doing over there is helping out with the Dyke family, who's been in Uganda for 10 years. We'll be coming alongside them at the Chibali Community Center, and we'll be assisting in the day-to-day operations there. And so with our educational background, Ali and I both being teachers back here, I'll be assisting in the secondary school. There'll be opportunities to disciple some of the teachers there. We'll be hosting visiting teams that are coming on short-term trips from Village and otherwise. And then we'll be just overall building relationships with the families within the Chibali community.
And my role over there, I will be also helping host teams, and I will be homeschooling our kids and just helping out in the elementary school and in the school where I can.
So I know that God has a plan for our lives, and I feel like God has brought Ali and I together in our marriage, saved us out of a life that was far from God, into a life of following Jesus for such a time as this. We couldn't have imagined this perfect situation being presented right in front of us. And so I just really believe that if we hold it with an open hand, that God will do far more abundantly than all that we can ask or imagine.